You are tuning in to John Pierre and Mary's fun-loving, crazy, and honest podcast.
If it don't smell bad, it must be clean.
Unequally Yoked, where any and every topic, life,
marriage,
I'll go first because I have something to say.
Uh-oh.
kids, and entrepreneurship are up for discussion.
how does Mary, a pastor's daughter,
And John, a guy who rarely saw the inside of a church growing up, get together
No.
and stay together.
We all have roles.
what does life look like 10 plus years into marriage?
2 kids and trying to run a family business.
How do we keep this nest egg from cracking?
What you mean?
Listen in to Unequally Yoked as we dive in to give a man
Next. And woman's perspective
Somebody back me up on
Nobody.
to all the topics married folks are talking about.
this. Are you ready?
Let's do this, boo. Hey guys, welcome back to season 3 of Unequally Yoked with John Pierre and Mary.
Whoa!
So excited to be back. We're always excited to come back and do our podcast.
Yeah.
We wanted to say thank you to everyone who is here watching. To those who came back.
Always.
Yeah, thank you for coming back. For our new watchers, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chaos that is our podcast.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. John forgot to turn off his phone. That's how you know it's real. So yeah, we haven't done this in a while. So it's good to be back sitting down with you.
Yay.
I get 30 minutes of your time.
30 minutes, uninterrupted time. The children were here yesterday. They're not here today. So we were like, this is the time to actually sit and do it.
Let's do it.
And we get to talk to you guys for 30 minutes. Today, we want to do like a reintroduction of ourselves because we do have some new followers.
Yep.
And new subscribers if you're on YouTube. And also just just like a warm-up and just to catch you guys up on what we've been working on and what we've been doing. But first, if you guys know, follow us on our social media at Harper Rain Homes on both Facebook and Instagram, and follow me, Mary TJP,
and John Pierre TJP, all the things, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we're all over the place.
Yeah, that's you across the board.
Across the board, man.
Boom. Make sure you guys follow us on social media for any updates and all the fun stuff that we like to get into. John likes to break and fix. That's what you do.
That's the kids say I do. I break things, so it works out.
That's what they think you do.
That is what I do.
They think you break things and then mommy fixes them.
That's pretty much how it works.
But yeah, we're so happy to be back, and we love doing this podcast because, like John said, it's like our uninterrupted time to talk because we talk a lot, mainly me, and he listens. Yay. And we end up having like just the most amazing conversations even after this. So it's kind of like our way of connecting and, the whole working together.
Yep.
And then being together.
Together
Forever. And we just like having conversations with each other. And I think that's really important.
I do too. So it's good to be back. I'm ready to get started. This season we should have a lot of really cool things happening.
Yeah.
We're going to bring on some guests. We're looking forward to doing that from all walks of life. We'll be fortunate enough to have some other HGTV personalities on. We'll get to talk to one of our good friends who's in the mental health space.
Yeah.
And so we'll try to put a lot of things together for you guys. So
financial things.
Yeah, everything.
Like this is going to be a well-rounded, talking about just a well-rounded life podcast. We talk about, like you said, just mental health and business and just the pressures that happens, and just the anxiety of owning your own business and not just in it, it's the people who are trying to start their own business. We've talked about that so many times before in our podcast in the past of like those of you out there who are like, man, do I take this leap? Remember, because like COVID last year,
COVID was crazy.
Wasn't it? I mean, it still is, and now there's a Delta.
There's probably a Delta, all kinds of different variations, Omegas, Alphas, whatever they are.
But what we were talking about last time was that because of COVID, people were working from home and still are, and now are entering back into, the workplace and having like even social anxiety of like, okay, I've been away from people for so long and now I'm going to have to go and be around people again, and just how the anxiety of that has come back. So we're looking forward to talking about that and seeing what tips. We're not going to tell you who our guest is yet until she confirms. Okay? And, and that way she can tell you guys and give us, too, some tips on how we can overcome, the anxieties that we have. Starting a business, being in your business, supporting yourself in your business, being the pressure of if you don't work, you don't get paid, okay? It's a lot owning your own business.
It's a lot going on.
Yes.
So, what are we going to talk about today, ma'am?
Well, today... Oh, and we didn't finish giving them teasers about the rest of the season, though.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
We're going to talk about real estate stuff.
We're
going to talk about flipping. We're going to talk about,
construction.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the good things I love about this is we just kind of talk and let the conversation go wherever it goes. So, the people we'll have on will definitely have, expertise in certain areas, but for me it's a lot of fun just kind of pick people's brains, and one of the things I love doing is just learning from other people and hearing other people's experiences. So that's kind of things I'm looking forward to on this season. So we'll have a lot of really cool people on, and then I'll be blessed to be able to sit next to the coolest person I know, which happens to wear red glasses.
You never said I'm the coolest person you know.
You are the coolest person I know.
No, I think you said like Levon. You said Levon when you said he's the smartest person.
He's the smartest person I know. You're the coolest person I know.
I don't know if I'm that cool.
You're very cool. And
I made y'all pancakes last night.
We need an audience. We need a clap for that. Coolest person in the building.
I think we gotta get our DJ horn. I don't think last season we were really slacking on the DJ horn.
We need some DJ horn action.
We need some DJ horn.
I might have to just get one, like just a little, or maybe put it on a computer where just like we played it, it'll just hit it. Right?
I like the DJ horn.
We have to get Grayson's little keyboard down here so I can be the keyboard.
You gonna carry that thing down here?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
No.
I can play some music for y'all.
Like Ross did on Friends.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
You remember I made you watch that episode of Friends and Ross was like, oh.
Yeah, it is.
I'm on a Friends marathon right now, guys, and he's been hating on me, but he'll sit there and watch it, and I hear you laugh a couple times.
It's pretty funny.
Okay, I don't know, Friends, it just helps with my anxiety. They're just there. It's easy TV watching. I don't have to think. I don't have to guess. They're guaranteed laughs.
They're just good friends.
They're funny as hell.
They are funny.
That's what they are. But today we want to just, again, because this is how random we are. We just start talking, but there is an agenda. It's just, will we get there?
We'll find out. I know one thing I definitely wanted to talk about.
Yes.
One of the things that I've experienced since we stopped filming the first season of Two Steps Home is the ability to kind of get myself back on track. Like, get myself back into some sort of a routine. Right? And, we've been hearing all this stuff about, like, mental health and taking care of yourself, self-care. And so I'm really excited to, one of the things that I was really on whenever we first started the podcast is, like, how hard you have to work to make something succeed.
Right.
And I still think that's the case. I think that there's no substitute for hard work. I know a lot of people talk about work harder versus work smarter. There's a bunch of things out there, but I think one of the things that's really important that I found, especially over the last couple months, is just finding that some sort of work-life balance. Still be willing to work as hard as you have to, but scheduling time for yourself. So I'm happy I've been able to get back into jiu-jitsu. I feel like at nighttime we're able to hang out with the kids a little bit more, take them places and things of that nature. And I'm actually getting more sleep now, and so that feels really, really good. And so I think it's really important to talk about in the entrepreneurial world about how important it is that you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
At some point, there's going to be times where you gotta get on the grind and you gotta work 80 hours in a week, or you gotta work 120 hours in a week. I don't know how many hours there are in a week, but I don't think there's too many more than that. But whatever it is, you really do have to put in that time, but you have to make sure that you give time for yourself to re-energize and kind of be ready for the next wave of hard work. And so I'm excited that we've been able to kind of implement that. And so I'd like to know from you, ma'am.
Well, first of all, let me just back up the train. I would let that boy talk, okay? Because this is a huge moment for you, honey.
Dun, dun, dun.
You are finally. Well, first of all, let me back up. For those of you who are new to John and I, we have 2 shows actually on HGTV. One of them was Going for Soul, where we flipped houses, and then our new show is called what's it? Going for Soul again. Our new show is called 2 Steps Home, where we help clients sell their home, and then they find a second house where we then their dream home that we renovate. Yeah. And what happened during that time was, like John, it was a lot of work. Yeah. And it's a lot of sacrifice. And what you see on TV is
only a small snippet.
Is a small snippet of what really goes into it, especially for John and I, who are very hands-on. Like we're there. We're there every day, and with John sometimes very, very late at night. So what has happened this time? Now this boy going into 42 this month.
42, man.
You be 42?
I'll be pretty old.
You're doing, you're looking good there, boy.
Trying my best, y'all.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Got
You're
my
getting
beard
better.
going.
Yes, the beard.
Got my shea butter on.
It's for you. You taking care of self-care, taking care of that skin.
Got the jiu-jitsu today. I got a workout in.
That's self-care. But my point of bringing that up is what has happened since then. I have been talking to you about this for probably as long as we've been married.
No, because sometimes I was a procrastinator for the last 5-6 years. Yes.
For 6 years, I've been telling you stop running yourself into the ground. Yeah. Like you're literally already, like that digging yourself into the ground is like you're already. What is it, like digging your own grave? Like you're killing yourself essentially, and it's like I have to keep pulling you in and asking you like what? Okay, I get what your why is, and because when you get into a project, you're just like in get it done mode. Yep. Right. To like any means necessary, you sacrifice yourself, your body, sleep. Like you don't. You just work. And then you crash. And I've been saying this to you for I don't know how long. You get your eyelash.
Thank you, ma'am.
And now are you finally at a point where you're like, I want time for me. I want time for my wife. I want time for my family. Yeah. Like, are you saying at 42, you're finally there?
Well, no, yes.
Oh, he said no and yes.
Well, no, I think that now that I've had a chance to kind of step back and kind of see that multiple things are possible. I think that I'm much more committed to that, more committed to making sure that I put aside time for myself, time for my family, and the things that actually matter. Because it is, when you're in the entrepreneurial world, it's very hard. It's very hard to...
When you don't work, you don't get paid.
Work, you don't eat.
And we can't live.
Right. So... There's always that burning sensation in the back of my brain about like, hey, man, I'm sitting here relaxing, but I could be doing 2 or 3 other things, and I still fight those. I still fight those urges. Yeah. So
we just don't give ourselves enough breaks.
No,
when you're in that moment where you're sitting, because you probably need to just sit and be still for a second to like recharge. Yeah. In the back of your mind, you're like, I should be doing something.
Some gotta be happening.
It was like, why don't you feel like you deserve to sit and relax?
Oh no, I definitely deserve it. There's no doubt about the deserving part of it. It's more about what am I just feel like it kind of goes back to what we've talked about in the past is, when you're in the entrepreneurial world, time is really all you have, right? Like time is your cash flow.
Time is money.
Time is money. Mm-hmm. So however you choose to spend your time is directly related to how your income happens.
Gotcha.
Right, and so we're trying to build a business that is going to be able to give us more time and still keep the machine going. Right. And so now that we put in the experience and know what it takes, because we put the man hours in ourselves, or woman hours on. There's no time, whatever. We put the hours in.
He's like, I don't want to be here. We've just put in the time.
We've put in the hours, and so now we know in those hours what's important and what we can, delegate to somebody else.
Right.
Right. Not that
Like,
it's not
what-
important, but just making
Well,
sure that
what's the best use of your time?
right, and knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are.
Absolutely.
Right?
Just because you've been guilty of that,
Yeah.
the whole, just because you can do it
Right.
doesn't mean you should do it.
Right.
It's like, John,
June.
we know you can put in the faucet, John. We
with a
have
U.
no doubt that you can do some electrical things. However, if Francisco is here, let that man put in the light fixture, John.
I agree.
Pay him the extra,
Pay him to
couple
get it done.
$100 and get it done so that you can then be on your phone,
I can't pay him a couple extra $100 for one light though.
Well, I'm just saying.
No,
I'm just being, what I'm saying is your time, you're realizing what your time is worth,
Yes.
right?
Yes, and so I think as you go through that whole cycle,
I have a quote I want to share. Go ahead
Okay.
with your thought.
yeah, as you go through the whole cycle of you're starting off on your business, you're working really hard to get it off on the right foot. Okay, now you need to make sure that you're taking notes along the way and understanding what's important for you to do, what can you give to somebody else, and then somewhere in there figuring out how you're going to give yourself the breaks and the time to re-energize.
Yeah.
I remember whenever I started, I felt like I had a bunch of energy because I was so passionate about what we were doing. And then also I was a little bit younger as well. I was 36 or so, 35. So, now that we're getting that space of being able to delegate and give things to other people, it really does help me kind of put back in perspective of like, okay, John, you got to take time for yourself. You got to take time with your family. You got to take time with your wife. You got to take time with your kids, and then still figure out how to keep the machine rolling.
Right. Well, I think also when you're starting a business, you do think that you have to do everything yourself.
Oh yeah,
and there are a
you
lot
got
of
money.
right. I'm about saying that's one of the factors is
Yeah.
because you don't have the money, but it is about investing because that's what your business is.
Yeah.
Whether it's taking out a loan so that you can pay other people to provide the strengths that are then your weaknesses, or even investing in yourself. Maybe it's taking a class or something like that that can help you. But the what you're talking about as far as balancing, I want to share this quote because something that we talk about. We talk about value. We talk about worth. And we took Grayson, who last week, whose school was shut down due to COVID. We took him to the museum after he came to work with us, which was really cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
And I saw this quote, and it says, "Until you value yourself, you won't value your time. Until you value your time, you won't do anything with it." I thought that was super dope.
It's true.
Yeah, talking about value, worth, like it's. I mean, it stopped me dead in my tracks.
I think that's great. I think that's part of that's one of the things we struggle with, man. We've been there too. Like, do you value yourself?
Pricing yourself accordingly.
Right, accordingly. Yeah. What is the right price to get your business going? What is the right price to keep your business going?
Yeah.
And what is the right price to get your business growing?
And then how much do you charge for your time? Like, what is your time worth? Because in the beginning, you're damn near doing things for free. We were. We did. I mean, we were.
Gotta keep it real.
We gotta keep it real. We were pretty much doing things. We were losing. And because we were wanting to build the clientele and to get ourselves out there, you know what I mean?
And making bad decisions and doing all kinds of things, right? Like
making bad decisions, taking on, clients that we probably shouldn't have, but you do because you're like, what choice do we have?
Yeah, we gotta keep it going.
But you definitely learn, and there are the growing pains that you always talk about.
Yeah.
And it is now 5 years into our business, and we hope that we are getting better. And, I know I have to have constant conversations with myself about just feeling bad that we don't know more. Like I told you, man, I wish one of us would have went to school for a business degree, but we didn't foresee that we would own a business.
We had no idea. We were in our own jobs at the time. And then I think that kind of goes to your point of like, there's no loss, there's only a lesson, right? And so just making sure that you learn the lessons, that we learn the lessons, and we've learned a lot of lessons, hell, we're still learning lessons.
Yeah.
But I think that it's very important that we, as we're moving forward, still continue to have that open mind and continue to learn. and then just take what we've gained with what we're gaining and make sure that we're putting into focus and making our business stronger.
Yeah.
And I'm saying business, you take that and put it into life, like we put it into our own lives, right?
Right.
And so I think that's one of the things I've learned over the last couple of months is coming off of this whirlwind of filming a TV show and how hard we were working doing that, and then like being able to take a break and step back and be like, man, that was really hard. That was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work.
And we were going like a million miles an hour, and now we're like, okay, we're slowing down, but we have a great opportunity to work at our pace.
Yeah.
Right? Like I feel like we're really blessed and fortunate to now be in a space where we can definitely take on the projects that mean more to us.
Yeah. And
we can do things that inspire us. Like that. This is where like the passion projects come in. So it's like I know we both have been struggling with just trying to get going.
Yeah.
But we have to make sure that we're giving ourselves a break. Like we're not being, which is easier said than done. We're being very hard on ourselves.
Always.
You know what I mean?
I think you have to be.
Well, no, we don't have to be hard on ourselves. We have to figure out a way to just be like, man, we doing all right.
Yeah.
We're not failing, John.
No, we're not failing. No, we're not failing. But I think that I do think, it's always best to be your worst critic. Like, you have to be the hardest on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how I feel. I feel like I can be the hardest on myself. Like, I am very hard on myself. But I also recognize that I have to be reasonable in my critiques.
You're not reasonable. Okay.
I'm still probably not that reasonable, but I'm trying to get better with the reasonability. And this my life now is a reflection of being reasonable, right? Like being able to take time and enjoying life's moments that are not work related.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's a man thing? Like, do you think that's where that kind of stems from?
I don't know. It could be. I mean, it could be my background. My mom and dad were go-getters, and they had to make their way out of no way. And so.
But that's that generation though. Not
necessarily.
Well, like my mom. I mean.
Listen,
are we going to go against my mom is your mom?
No.
I'm just saying, it's that generation. They worked, man. They were some hard-working people. They were putting their head down. They was getting it done. They were trying to survive.
Listen, I think that every generation has its fair share of losers. Every generation has its fair share of lazy people. Every generation has its fair share of hard workers. And we just got lucky. We got really good parents. Some people have a bunch of lazy parents, and that's just the way it is. Like, so, I'm just being honest. Like, I don't, me personally,
We're talking about, because I said their generation.
Yeah, like the generation
so
thing, whatever,
literal.
man. Like, listen, there's people right now that are working harder than anybody in the history of mankind. There's also people right now that are being lazy as hell, like everybody else. You know what I mean? And that goes back every generation. So I just think if we're fortunate enough to have parents that worked hard, which I think we are both fortunate to have had that, then it's important for us to take what they built and those kind of foundational things, put it into our lives and try to be better at it. So that.
But is the better to me though, because that's what you're supposed to be doing, right? And we're hoping that our kids are going to be better than us. What I take from that. And this is where you and I differ. It's why we unequally yoked. Okay, yeah, there's our DJ horn. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, this is our unequally yoked moment.
Yeah.
Your parents worked hard and were go-getters.
Yeah. And
so you feel like that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be that times 10.
Right.
Whereas I look at my parents who work hard, who sacrifice. I say, was it scrap and scrape, as my mama used to say. Scrape and scrape to kick you guys and these women. God, her voice. And I can just hear her saying that. And her voice is my voice, by the way. But what I see from that is they work so hard that I don't, and I could probably call and ask them and be like, when did you enjoy life?
All right.
So I see that as, I want to work smarter and not harder. I don't want to work so hard that I am not living. I want to live.
I agree with that. I think in this we definitely differ. I just think that one of the things that, and I think a lot of people go through this, is
like your dad's at work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
and he enjoys it.
I don't know.
I think he enjoys it. Like I think that he enjoys that kind of work. He enjoys the labor of creating something. He really does enjoy it, and that's part of the reason he's always there. So I think one of the things that a lot of people struggle with, we don't have a lot of time now, but that's okay. One of the things that people struggle with is...
I gave us a 5-minute buffer.
Oh, there we go. Good. All right. Is the whole idea of work. And I feel like sometimes work gets this very bad connotation.
Like, oh, I gotta go to work.
Right? And so if that's the life you're living, yes, you need to be quicker to find the balance because you don't enjoy what you do.
Right.
But if you find and you're fortunate enough and you're persistent and perseverant enough to keep working at something that you love, then it's not as hard to enjoy life when you're having to work hard.
So that's that saying. We have a lot of the cliche sayings in this podcast, it seems. The whole, what is it? Find something you love and you don't work a day in your life.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
she doesn't really believe that. I believe that's how I am.
You know what my favorite thing to do is?
Man, that was a very Laverne moment right there. You look just
God.
Shout out to Mimi.
Thanks, Mimi.
She looks like you.
I do. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Damn. My favorite thing to do on earth is...
Drink champagne.
No, my favorite thing to do on earth is nothing.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So, and I'm the exact opposite.
And you can't sit down.
I can't sit down. So
we go on vacation. You know what I want to do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And I want to go do something.
And he want to do something.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I came on vacation to do just like this. This is the most work I'm going to do. And then have drink in it, not this coffee. And this is the work I want to do. And sit and stare into nothing. I will just sit there and stare.
There's a place and a time. I can enjoy that in moderation.
You can't sit down.
But
you can't sit still.
I'm just saying, I think overall, and it's okay, we definitely differ about this, but I just think that wherever your personality is, you have to make sure that you are doing something that's going to make you feel whole and feel... I don't like to use the word happy because happy is a temporary emotion, but fulfilled. Yeah. Right? You want to do something that makes you feel fulfilled. Mm-hmm. Or at least pursue that. If you're working a job you don't like, but there's something that you do love doing, then you should take some of your off time and put it towards something that you really love in hopes that one day you can turn what you love doing into replace the job that you don't love doing. So,
well, what's our takeaways today? I mean, I think that's great. I'm really happy for you that you finally got to a place where, because we get asked about the whole work-life balance all the time. And I think it takes time to get there. It takes having your own moment of being like, man, I'm tired. And I know that there's something else out there. Like, I can love my work and I can love and changing the definition of work. Yeah. Right? And then saying, I also feel like I can do other things and with my time.
Yeah. I think that's how I feel. I just think the takeaway is, one of the things you said in that quote was, if you don't value yourself, right, then you won't value your time. So I think it's really important that you figure out your own value. Yeah. Right? Figure out your own value. That will really help you kind of put into perspective what's important to you and what's not important to you. So that's my takeaway, ma'am. My takeaway.
Your takeaway.
My takeaway.
Well, awesome. Well, I hope that you guys learned something in our random... Totally random podcast.
Literally today. Just sat down like, hey, we're going to do our podcast today. What are we going to talk about? I don't know. Let's just go.
I will tell you that I have a plan. I always have a plan coming to these podcasts. But what happens is...
Here it comes. There it is.
Derails all of my plans. And it's fine. I guess Unequally Yoked, we're going to go with it. I have a plan. He doesn't. I'm
going to show up.
So he shows up. He sets up. And let me say, he's dressed on the top. And on the bottom, he's got on basketball shorts. So this just goes to show you how things work.
And I'm barefoot. Look, I'm barefoot. See, y'all? I'm barefoot. That's how I roll.
This is who I'm with.
There we go.
And I'm dressed from what?
Head to
toe, honey. I show ups and I show out. Thank you guys for joining us again on Unequally Yoked with John and Mary. There's my timer. You know why we're on time? Because I made it on time. We'll see you guys again next week. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. Harper Rain Homes, Mary TJP.
John here, TJP.
We'll see you guys next time.
Turn up.
Bye. Oh, 42 Jones.
Great.
Turn up with 2 chains with no bangs.